Somewhere in your city right now, someone is about to sign a $180,000 a year lease for what they think is a business. It's Padel. Fastest growing sport in the world, they'll tell you. Courts booked solid every evening, they'll tell you. Put in $500,000, sit back, collect rent on other people's obsession. Here's what they won't tell you. The busiest courts you've ever walked past might be owned by someone who never expected to make a single dollar from them. By the end of this, you'll understand exactly why that's not a contradiction. It's the smartest version of this entire business. Here's the first thing that surprises people. Padel Club is not one business. It's at least 4 different businesses wearing the same glass box. A rental-only facility just sells court hours and does almost nothing else. Simple, and also the riskiest version by far. A full-service community club layers in coaching, leagues, food, memberships. A franchise buys you a brand and a booking system in exchange for a permanent cut of everything you make, forever. And a fourth model has quietly become the smartest one on this list. Courts built into residential towers and hotels, where the court was never expected to turn a profit on its own. Its entire job is to sell the apartments around it. 4 businesses, 1 net height. Keep that in mind because we're coming back to it. Let's start with what you're actually paying for. The structure, steel frame, tempered glass, turf, lighting, runs $35,000 to $50,000 per court. That glass alone eats 40 to 60% of the bill because every panel has to be precision safety glass, engineered, so a ball rebounds exactly where a player expects it to. Add site prep, drainage, electrical, and one finished court lands between $85,000 and $120,000. Build 6, roughly where most operators find their actual break-even, and you're at $500,000 to $600,000 before you've sold a single hour. Then there's the number first-timers always underweight, the lease. A mid-sized urban facility typically signs for $15,000 a month. $180,000 a year, that doesn't care whether your courts are full or embarrassingly empty. It's fixed the moment you sign it. Most owners aren't paying that in cash. They're borrowing it. And at current rates, a $400,000 construction loan can mean $35,000 to $50,000 a year in interest before you've turned on a single light. Go the franchise route instead, and the math looks different, but not friendlier. Investors have been offered a 12% preferred annual return with an 80% revenue share back to them. Translation: the person running the club every single day is working underneath a stack of obligations to people who've never once picked up a racket. Now the staffing math, because this is where the spreadsheet quietly turns against people. A 6-court club open 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. needs front desk coverage across every hour of that. 2 to 3 staff rotating, around $17 to $18 an hour. A general manager, salaried $60,000 to $85,000. Coaches, who almost never take a flat salary. They typically keep 40 to 60% of what a lesson bills, so their cost rises and falls with actual demand instead of sitting on your books rent-free like everyone else's paycheck does. Added up and staffing runs 30 to 40% of your operating costs. The trap is obvious once you say it out loud. Hire a full coaching roster and extended front desk hours before the bookings justify it, and you've built the fastest possible way to turn a promising club into a cash negative one. Let's actually live through that trap for a second, because the spreadsheet version doesn't tell you what it feels like. Month 4. You opened strong. A launch discount filled the calendar for 3 weeks, and it felt like the pitch deck was right. Then the discount ends. Booking volume drops by 1/3 overnight. It's a Tuesday afternoon in February. 3 courts are sitting empty, and payroll is due Friday regardless. This is the exact moment most first-time owners panic and either slash prices across the board, wrecking the margin on the hours that were already booked, or freeze marketing spend entirely, which guarantees the empty Tuesdays stay empty. The operators who make it through do something less dramatic and much less satisfying. They target that one dead afternoon specifically, with a corporate wellness package or a discounted off-peak membership, instead of discounting everything. It's not a rescue, it's a slow patch, but it's the difference between a bad month and a bad year. Here's the idea that explains every pricing decision a paddle club makes. A court hour that goes unbooked at 7 on a Tuesday isn't inventory. You can't sell it tomorrow, it's just gone. That's why every serious club runs dynamic pricing instead of one flat rate. Weekday evenings and weekends hit 85 to 95% occupancy, priced 30 to 50% above the daytime rate. Weekday afternoons routinely fall under 60% unless the club actively fights for that dead time. The club isn't really selling Padel. It's selling a 2-hour window that expires the moment nobody shows up for it. And the courts have a ceiling. There's only so many peak hours in a day. What actually separates a thriving club from one limping along is everything stacked on top. Coaching, 10 to 15% of revenue. Memberships, which matter less for the cash and more for what they do to that dead Tuesday afternoon. A member books it, a walk-in never does. Food, drink, corporate bookings filling exactly the hours nobody else wants. Layer all of that in properly, and margins climb into the 30 to 35% range. Sell only the hour itself, and you're often stuck under 20%, sometimes barely clearing break-even, while your parking lot still looks respectably full. Let's put a real number on the whole picture. 6-court club, strong urban market, $560,000 to open. Year 1, courts are new. Membership base is thin. Utilization sits around 50%. Realistic revenue, about $675,000. Against lease, lean staffing, utilities, and debt service, total costs land near $720,000. Net result? A loss of roughly $40,000 to $50,000. That's not failure. That's the bill for the ramp-up nobody mentions in the pitch deck. Fast forward to year 3. Utilizations climbed towards 65 to 70%. Memberships have compounded. Coaching has a following. Corporate bookings now fill the hours that sat empty back in month 4. Revenue, $1.2 to $1.5 million. Staffing's grown too, to around $350,000 to $400,000. But because the lease and the loan barely moved while revenue nearly doubled, EBITDA lands in that 30 to 35% range. $400,000 to $500,000 of annual profit on a club that was underwater 3 years earlier? Same courts, same lease, same rough headcount. The only thing that actually changed was demand compounding on top of costs that refused to grow with it. And here's the part that reframes everything you just heard. Not every court is built to survive on that math, and it doesn't need to. In the UAE, over 900 Padel courts now operate in Dubai alone, and a growing share of them aren't standalone businesses at all. They're built straight into luxury residential towers, with close to 200 property listings now advertising Padel courts as a headline amenity. That court doesn't need 65% occupancy. It doesn't need a 30% margin. Its entire job is to justify a higher price tag on the apartments sitting next to it. Which means, if you're opening a standalone club, you're not just competing with other clubs for players. In some markets, you're competing with courts that were never built to need a profit in the first place. And they can afford to lose that fight every single day, forever, because losing it was the plan. So if you're actually thinking about building one of these, the rackets get people through the door. Everything else in this video is what decides whether they stay open past year 1. The operators who make it aren't the ones who bet on the sport being trendy. They're the ones who budgeted the ramp up on purpose, who fixed the dead Tuesday instead of discounting everything, and who understood that the lease gets paid every month whether the courts are packed or whether it's just them, an empty glass box, and a very quiet afternoon. If you actually found this useful, the kind of thing you'd want before putting real money into one of these, that's exactly what this channel's for. Hit subscribe, because the next one's already loading.